Hey, this is Vinnie. Welcome to another cooking segment. This is going to be my favorite cooking segment. Tell you why right now. So, we are coming up on playing at the Saranac Brewery in Utica, New York. A place that's very near and dear to my heart. It's where I was born and lived till I was 9. It's where most of my family's from, and that's where this dish is from. This dish being Utica's famous chicken rigatoni, otherwise known as Chicken Riggies. I'm going to give you a little history on Chicken Riggies because I feel that I was somewhat part of the history, sort of. A lot of places claim Chicken Riggies as their own. Syracuse does, Utica does. Chicken Riggies came from a restaurant in Clinton, New York called the Clinton House in the late 70s. This cool little joint was in a strip mall. Strip mall doesn't exist anymore. Clinton House doesn't exist anymore. But it lives in infamy. Back in the late 70s, these guys had this cool little joint. People were there, and they do a poker night once a week, and they started, they'd shut the place down, people play poker, and the guys would get hungry, and Bobby would just whip something up. What he ended up whipping up that they came back for time after time was Chicken Riggies. I started making it for these guys. Then he started feeding his help with it, dishwashers and stuff, the guys that were there after it was closed. He'd whip it up for them, they'd make it. I got to know Chicken Riggies right around the same time, and you don't really need to know this, but I'm going to tell it anyway. My parents got divorced. My father moved in with Bobby Hazelton, one of his best friends. So when I was visiting my father and not home with my mother, we went and stayed with Bobby. So probably the first time I had Chicken Riggies was right around the first time he made it. My brother and I would go and stay with my dad for a few days, and my dad needed to cook something. So he cooks this new dish that, hey, try this out. Bobby's been making this at the restaurant. So we had it early on. The first time I ever cooked it was, I think I was 16 or 17, and made it for my mom and my stepdad and my wife, Debbie, who was my girlfriend at the time. And that was probably around 1987. I don't think it was in any restaurants at that point. So as I spent my summers and all my holidays in Clinton, I got what I consider the original recipe, which I'm pretty sure is the original recipe because it's Bobby's and it's my father's because he was there making, involved in the whole thing. And I'm going to show it to you guys, and we're going to have some original Chicken Riggies. Gonna make some Chicken Riggies here. Ready? First off, what better drink to be drinking to make Chicken Riggies than Saranac Happy Hour Hero? So, cheers. Alright, first thing you do, turn on the stove. A little olive oil in the pan, probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons worth. Add garlic, about 3 chopped cloves. Onion, which I'm going to chop for you. Coarse chop on the onion. That goes in there. Next ingredient, very important, cherry peppers. Now I have some fresh, frozen actually. A friend of mine gave me a bunch of fresh ones this summer, and just using the last of them. I'm going to supplement them with some jarred ones, just because these aren't as hot as I thought. So I'll put a couple of these in, and then I'll put a couple of the jarred ones that I know are hot in. Nice coarse chop on these. So for the amount that I'm cooking here, which is, we're feeding 10 people tonight, I will put 5 cherry peppers in. So it's really subject to how hot you want it and how hot your peppers are. Everybody kind of likes it warm. They're my favorite hot pepper. They taste, in my opinion, just my opinion, they taste a lot better than other hot peppers. Just for good measure, I'm going to throw a few more in. Smell that? Yeah. Smells great. Oh yeah. So. In the meantime, while this is sweating, I'm going to prepare chicken for the Chicken Riggies. Okay, you can put it right in here. You can do what I'm going to do, which is put it in a skillet next to it, an iron skillet, because it cooks meat so well and makes such a great flavor. And then add it to the sauce. Or you can cook it out on the grill, which is what I like to do in the summertime. Either way, you prep the meat with a little, here's our chicken. Put a little salt and pepper. Salt. I put a little garlic powder on too, because I like garlic. Into the iron skillet. We will cut the chicken. As the veggies are sweating, I'm going to chop up some fresh basil. Throw it in there. Got the chicken going. One thing when you're using chicken, you got to wash your hands like all the time. Just keep washing your hands. Every time you handle some chicken, wash your hands. Now that the veggies are sweating, I'm going to add some chicken broth, which is the next step. About a cup or so. So this is the base to the Chicken Riggies. Now, that's a start. Now remember the marinara sauce from a previous episode? Well, we're going to use a bunch of it in this sauce. I got some, just happens to be, I have some on my stove right here. So, marinara sauce on the stove. So I'm going to take a couple, 2-3 ladles of this. Put it in our Chicken Riggies sauce. Look at that color, looks good. Take this chicken out here. It's a lot of improvising. So, you know, you see me making this dish like this right now. You could see me in 2 months making this dish, and now steps might be different, whatever. So, you know, for anybody that actually does a lot of cooking, cooks your dinner every night at home, whatever, you have a way that you cook. You have a system. You use certain things all the time. Feel free to add your touch, your flavor to it. When I give drum lessons, that's one thing I teach all my students. I say, okay, I'm going to teach you the basic things. This is the thing. I want you to put your own voice in it. Alright, so now I'm going to start cutting up this chicken as I'm cooking the other to add to the sauce. Now when the chicken is done, one of the main ingredients to this dish is white wine. I will deglaze the pan to get everything out of this pan with white wine added to the sauce. But you want the chicken to be cubed and in small pieces because you're serving it over pasta. It can be a little underdone because it still has to cook in the sauce. So don't be scared if your chicken's just a little bit pink in it. You don't want it overcooking in the sauce, so you actually want to put it in a little bit undercooked because you're still going to cook it for 15-20 minutes while your pasta's cooking. Starting to come along. I'm getting a little help from a person you may recognize the name, Paul Citone. He does a lot of, he's a great rock and roll photographer, he's a great friend, and he's from Utica, where I ended up growing up after I moved from Utica. So he's helping me here do these cooking segments, and we're having a great time, and we're making some great food. So, and guess what? We get to eat the Chicken Riggies when we're done. That's the best part. Cheers. We're going to deglaze that pan, add all that goodness to the Chicken Riggies. Going to add some white wine, deglazed chicken yumminess right here. Now we're going to thicken this stuff up. When you thicken this up, butter. Yummy. Now, a lot of people in the upstate New York area And even further along, like I've seen Rachel Ray cook this on TV, they use cream in this sauce. I'll give you a little more history on the sauce. What I use to thicken the sauce, I put some butter, some Parmesan cheese. Not a ton, maybe a half cup or so. Thicken it up. Now, people use cream sauce, and that has probably been part of the improvisation of the dish over the years. Now, in the cookbook that I have, that my father made for me with the original dish, if the restaurant had extra hollandaise sauce left over from brunch or whatever, they would throw it in the sauce. They didn't put cream in it, they didn't put mushrooms in it, they didn't put olives in it. They made it like this. If they had extra hollandaise sauce they had to get rid of, they put it in the sauce. That's how it got creamy. You know, that's the story that I have. That came straight from my father, came straight from Bobby, came straight from the Clinton house. So anyhow, this is it. This is Chicken Riggies right here. Now it's just got to cook down for a few minutes, because if you see, I put the chicken in not quite all the way done, because I don't want it to be dry when it gets when it's finished. So we let this cook down for a few minutes. In the meantime, we throw our pasta in. Salt the water after it boils. Make it taste like seawater, so you got to put a decent amount of salt in it. Better off using a decent Italian pasta. I don't know what brand this is. It's imported from Italy. Donna Vera, whatever. I just buy imported Italian, whatever they have at my local store. Put it in. And I'm cooking for about 9 or 10 people, so I'm going to put a couple pounds of pasta in. And we'll see you in 10 minutes. So I've cooked my rigatoni al dente. As you can kind of see it. You kind of know when it's al dente because it's not cooked all the way through. You can kind of see that. I'm going to do a quick drain. Not going to rinse it because you want the pasta to be a little bit sticky. Helps with the sauce. So just get it rinsed off. You'll see a lot of cooks, they actually use some of the water because it's starchy. I just don't usually let it drain all out, so there's a little bit of starch water in there. Chicken Riggies. Here's the sauce. Here's the pasta. Here's what we do. This is how I serve it. Family style, right over the top. There you have it. Salute. Bon appetit. Chicken Riggies.
It's so in style right now. It is.
Here we go, everybody. Move that one.
Damn.
There we go, baby. All right, people. Everybody. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you.